How do car accident claims work? Hi, my name's Eric Stevenson and I'm an attorney at Stevenson Klotz Injury Lawyers, and I want to take the time today to talk to you about how a car injury claim works, what the steps are on the process, and kind of how long does it take too. Because we get a lot of clients who come in to see us and most have never been through this process before, and maybe you've never been through it, or you've got a friend or family member who is about to go through it and you have questions. And so join me today while I talk about this. You know, there are basically three phases in the life of an injury case short of going to trial, short of filing a lawsuit. And so I'll walk you through that because talking about a lawsuit is an entire process all on its own. That'll be a great topic for another video at another time. You know, the three steps typically are treatment, the demand status, and then the negotiation status. Those are kind of the three different steps in the process. And so during the treatment portion of a case, that's the part that can kind of take the most time. It's also the part that it's more difficult for me to tell you how long it's going to take, because what happens during the treatment process is you're treating. Somebody comes to see us, they're injured, they go to the doctor, and the doctor says, look, I think this is what's wrong with you. I think this treatment is going to help. I need you to come to so many appointments. Let's try this medication. Let's try chiropractics. Let's try physical therapy. Let's try injections. Let's try a surgery. All sorts of steps and different types of treatment options are available to people, and it takes a while. And until somebody's completed treatment, I don't know exactly what's wrong with them. The doctor doesn't know exactly what's wrong with them. And what do we use to try to settle with an insurance company or medical records? And so until we get a diagnosis of what exactly is wrong with somebody, and maybe a prognosis for recovery, or if a client has reached what's called maximum medical improvement, until we get to that point, it's hard for us to be able to judge exactly what the value of a claim is worth. Now, that is subject to some limitations. If somebody has serious injuries and there's only a little bit of insurance available, sometimes we'll settle the case before someone's done with treatment. But if there is a lot of insurance, it's most of the time important to wait until somebody's done treating before we send out a demand, which is the next step in the process, the demand process. And what does that include? Well, we get all of the medical records together, all the bills, amounts that health insurance have paid, and we detail for an insurance company what our client's injuries are. We point to the parts of the record where the doctor has said what the limitations are for our clients and just what sort of effect this is going to have on their life. And based upon that, we send all of that to the insurance company and we say, hey, we're going to give you so much time to pay our client what they're owed. The insurance company takes a look at that, and we usually give them 30 days, sometimes a little shorter, sometimes a little longer, depending on what's going on with the case. Give them whatever time we give them, and when we're done with that, they make us an offer. We may have already made an offer in our demand. Sometimes we don't make an offer, but either way, the insurance company will respond with an amount of money, and that's when we go into the negotiations status. That's the third step in what goes on with an automobile accident claim. And that's where we start negotiating with the insurance company, because their first offer is not their best offer. There's usually going to be more money than their first offer. And so we do some negotiating a few times until we get to a number that we know is their absolute top number. And that's when we have a conversation with our clients and say, hey, do you want to accept this? Here are my thoughts on it. I give advice about whether I think it's a good number or a bad number, and we come to the decision about whether we're going to accept it. We accept the money, then we go towards settling the case and distributing the money. If we decide not to accept it, that's when we go to a lawsuit and we file a complaint in the court system and move along with that process. So really, in an automobile accident claim, there are three steps. There's treatment, there's demand status, and then there's negotiations. And that's kind of the life of a case. It can take months for us to get through all of that, many, many months, because sometimes treatment takes a while. But we try to, once somebody's done with treatment, try to narrow that demand step and that negotiation step down to try to minimize the amount of time that we spend on a claim so that clients can get the money they deserve in their pocket faster. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. You know, we have a lot of videos out on YouTube. If you're scrolling around on our page and you have questions about personal injury cases, we probably have an answer there. If not, shoot us a message. We'll be happy to answer any questions you've got. My name is Eric Stevenson and our law firm is Stevenson Klotz Injury Lawyers. And remember, we put lives back together.